Hello, everybody. My name is Josh Oakes, and you're listening or watching the smartsocial.com podcast. I'm excited to have you here today. As you know, we want to keep your kids safe on social media. And then we talk a lot about mental health. And then we talk about how to get your kids to shine online someday. We've got a lot in store for you here today. In the next few minutes, I want to talk to you about cybersecurity for your family. Now, you've heard of ransomware, you've heard of password managers, you've heard of all these different things, but you probably don't need them right now, right? Wrong. You see, more and more, the bad guys want us to think that that won't happen to us. That won't happen today. That's going to happen to someone else. But today, I want to talk to you about how to keep your family safe. We brought in an awesome expert. Her name is Chelsea Brown. She's CEO and founder of Digital Mom Talk. She's live from us in Las Vegas right now. She's a certified cybersecurity consultant. Chelsea, welcome to the video.
Welcome. It's so nice to be here.
So Chelsea, you're coming at us live from Las Vegas. You do this. You help families to be safe online. You help them from a security standpoint. And you really just make it simple for people. But I want to ask about you. I want to ask about why are you doing this? Something happened to you in high school. Tell us what that was and what that meant to you.
So I was a freshman in high school, and this is pre-iPhone. iPhone hadn't even been invented yet. We were just getting our iPods out with 80 gigs was the big maximum you could get at the time. And a couple of my friends experienced some bad pictures that were taken in locker rooms being photoshopped and passed around the school. My brother was cyberbullied through text messages and some emails sent. And I had a couple friends that were sexually exploited just through text messages and things. And so as a 16-year-old kid, I decided at that point, as naive as I was, that technology was the devil. It was never coming into my home. And I had a college professor at the time. I was taking dual credits, and he looked at me and he said, I will bet you everything I ever own that computers are the future. And I looked at him, I said, Rayford, no offense, where's the next computer class? I need to go learn how to protect my family. And so that led me into a career of cybersecurity and pursuing everything I could learn about how the internet works, how to protect myself, and doing that. And I wanted to be a hacker, but as I learned all of these skills, I had more and more parents come to me and they're like, well, show me how you do that. That doesn't seem so complicated, and you made it so simple. And I'm like, that's out. So I ended up kind of doing a 180 and going way off the beaten path of cybersecurity. And I teach parents how to simplify and use these skills in their homes where it applies directly to what you're doing. So it's not super complicated. You're not looking up terms every 25 seconds going, where is this coming from? Where you can actually apply it to how your family works, what technology you have in your home, and make it so that your kids can eventually use technology and you're not sitting there with nails in your hands going, when are they going to screw up and what am I going to do?
I love it. All right. What's one of your tips for parents that you're hearing frequently that you'd like to share with our community? Maybe a frequently asked question, maybe something where I'm not worth a lot of money, so I don't have to worry about creating unique passwords for everything. What's your biggest frequently asked question that you think is maybe misunderstood that you'd like to share with people?
I think the biggest misunderstood conception is that parental controls will always do their job. The truth is, parental controls will fail because we have a variable that we can't control. That's your child. Your child has a will, they have a mind of their own, and they have access to something that you and I didn't have growing up, which is a world of information. Back in my day when I wanted to go and hack my iPod, I had a guy in school that I went to and I paid him money for. Now, I can literally do a Google search and get hundreds of thousands of results on how to do that.
Yeah.
And so that I think is the biggest misconception parents have, is that their kids, by putting just this one app or this one security filter, we're never going to get hacked. They're never going to find anything bad. The truth is they will if they stay in that box. As soon as they step outside that box or the box has to expand, we have to change it. And that's where we have to adapt ourselves to fit the situation. That's
great. So parental controls, people think that they're going to work perfectly. What you're hinting at is they might be a layer. Next question, what can we add on from parental controls? What's the next step we can do to maybe use parental controls to our benefit? And also, what's another thing that's going to make them more powerful? What can we do?
The thing with parental controls is to set it up so that it's user-friendly for your child. You don't want to set it up if you've got like a 16-year-old kid, you don't want it set it up to where it's like a 2-year-old and they can only access 3 apps. That's going to really defeat the purpose. So you want to set it up with your child in mind. But the next step that you want to do is, instead of saying no to everything, no to social media, no to emails, no to this, is you turn it on your child and you say, I don't want you to make the same mistakes that I'm seeing these other kids make. So let's come up with a process of where you're at responsibility-wise, where we're at trust-wise, and how we can together get you to eventually have no parental controls. Because when you leave my home someday, you are going to have no parental controls, and I want you to be safe when I'm not there.
I love this. So we talk parental controls and then dialogue. You're talking about working with your kid, not against them, right?
Yep.
I love this. I was trying to lay it up for you and you went boom, knocked it out of the park. So parental controls technology are not everything. Dialogue is going to fill in. What are some other frequently asked questions or misconceptions parents have?
One of the big misconceptions I get and questions I get asked a lot is, why isn't my filter or my antivirus software blocking X, Y, and Z that my kids are looking at? So the thing with filters that parents have to understand is they only work as long as we stay inside them. And as soon as a filter is made, we literally start poking holes in it as hackers. And your kids are going to either intentionally or accidentally find something outside of those defined lines, because computers are black and white. Everything has to match exact. So if your child finds something gray, they're going to accidentally pull information that may slip through the filters. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like when your child goes to do a report on the digestive system and they're all of a sudden exposed to maybe some stuff about the reproductive system that's a little bit more college material, and you weren't expecting that, and you're wondering, why did they do that? Or like when your kid goes to look up for swimsuit advertisements and all of a sudden you find those porn advertisements seeping through because you were looking for swimsuits. So that's kind of the pros and cons about a filter, is it's all about how we search and how specific we have to be with typing things in order for it to work the best.
Mm-hmm. And so what's something parents can do, because it sounds like we shouldn't rely on a filter. What's something parents can do to better monitor what their kids are doing online?
One of the things that I suggest is to practice looking up things accidentally with your kids. A great example is to go to YouTube and look up videos on baby chicks. You will see, as soon as you type that in, instead of getting those cute little farm animals, you'll see videos sleep in that are not necessarily appropriate. And you can talk to your child and say, now this is not inappropriate, but what we want to be sure is we want to choose our words carefully. We want to make sure that we're super precise in what we're searching for, and we want to use a safe search engine. So maybe instead of using just Google and you're looking for a scholarly article, you want to go to Google Scholar, or looking up something in a less rigid environment that's not so open, that's designed for kids. There are actual specific search engines out there designed for kids that we can kind of teach our kids to use, as opposed to what the world uses.
That's such a great set of tips. I love that. What are you mostly working with parents to do? When you start with them, what's one of the first things you'll ask them?
One of the first things I ask them is what their goal is with technology in their home. Why do they have it? What is its purpose? And most of them kind of sitting there like, well, I don't know. And so that's when I can dive deeper into questions and say, well, are you using it?
There's one of our goals. It's productive. I love it.
Yeah, but just asking them kind of what they're doing to focus on what they're having and bringing in technology that fits it. So like you can bring in a smart television and say that our goal with the TV is to just make sure that everything we do is uplifting entertainment and information.
I like that. I like that a lot. That's a great way for everybody listening and watching to this right now. Have a goal with the TV, and we're going to spend time around it as a family and have uplifting content. And Chelsea, one of our favorite phrases is, does this have a purpose, or is it just a pastime? And when we give kids a phone as a pastime, they're going to get around everything. But if they have a purpose, and what you just hinted at is so beautiful. It's a purpose, uplifting entertainment, maybe family time, showing these kinds of shows. Love that. Okay, keep going.
So we start with a purpose, and then from there I define them and say, okay, so where are the danger areas in your home? Because when we go to a store, there are certain places that you and I are not allowed to access. We're not allowed to go where the employees are, and the employees aren't allowed to go into certain areas of the store, like the security places or maybe the back offices of the CEOs and stuff. So as a home, we create those boundaries of where our danger zones are. Those are usually like your bedrooms and your bathrooms. Maybe they're uncomfortable friends or friends that, you know, your kids have that maybe you're not so okay with. And we talk about, okay, so what do you see based on your child's current behavior and their past behavior? What do you see your child going into the future? Do you see them sneaking into a bedroom or maybe looking up something hidden? And we create what we call tech zones where they can use technology, and tech-free zones where they aren't allowed to use technology because it's free time. So they can start defining those boundaries, and we create homes for our technology so that it's always in the same place when we need it, when we go for it.
Wow, I love that. All right, this has been a lot. We've talked about parental control, basically solutions, modeling and dialoguing with your kids, filters and how they can go wrong. And then I love where you're going with these different zones, the danger zone and the safe zone and stuff. What's one more tip you give for parents? I want to give you last call. This has been so helpful. What's a tip that parents really need to know if they sense something's wrong or if they want to be alert of what could happen?
One of the biggest tips I can give parents is to react privately and then approach your child. The biggest mistake you can make, and I've seen it a lot, is I will go in and I'll say, okay, I found maybe some websites that were accidentally clicked on or some advertisements or whatever. And the mom goes in and she just plows over the kid and starts yelling at him and screaming at him. I'm like, it's actually your husband. So we want to make sure that our kids feel like they can approach us, and how we react to those difficult situations that they're going through with the stuff that they come at. Sometimes we need to have our private go in the other room and vent and scream and yell and ask why, and then calmly approach our child and say, I found this on here. Would you talk to me about it? How did you find it? What did you do? Was it on purpose? Was it an accident? Did a friend access it? And really dive into the why it happened, and then ask them about the solution and come up with it together as a family and set your boundaries, so that even if it's just a minor thing of like maybe they said a swear word in a text message, you can address it so that when the bigger things come in and they can be like, Mom, some guy was talking to me on social media and I didn't know what to say. Or I was experiencing a friend that had a picture sent to him and I didn't know what to do. Then they can feel comfortable coming to us with those really deep, big things that kids are facing today, because we've established that they're safe and that they may or may not get in trouble. But the important thing is that we know how to react in a calm manner to them.
That's powerful. Chelsea, I want to thank you for coming out today. Thanks for your time.
You're so welcome. Anytime you want me back, I'm more than happy to come back and share my information.
That's awesome. For those of you that are watching or listening, you can click the link below to learn more about Chelsea. And if you haven't taken one of our courses, we have a TikTok course to teach you all about the app, all the dangers and how kids are using it. We've got a Snapchat, an Instagram class. We've got a smartphone and social media agreement class. We've got the 10 ways to set up your kid's phone to lock it down, to make it a little bit of a watered down smartphone. We've got a ransomware course, all these different courses you can take at Smart Social when you click on the membership button up at the top. To our members, if you haven't already taken them, please consider watching them. We've even got this one called Dangers Every Parent Should Know Before Giving Their Student an iPhone. It is a deep dive with you and I watching together. I teach you. It's about a 15 to 20 minute course that shows you all the dangers. We want to thank everybody for watching this right now. If you've gotten value from this, consider rating, subscribing, and reviewing so that we can reach more parents with what we do at smartsocial.com. Thanks to everybody for listening, and thanks to Chelsea for taking the time today. We'll see all of you very soon. Have a great day.